Hello everyone, this is Aidan, and for my very first video I'm going to be starting a playthrough of the game Don't Starve. Now, my history with this game is kind of interesting. I initially purchased it as a Christmas gift for my brother back when the game was still in beta, and back then when you bought it you actually got two Steam codes, one for yourself and one to give away. So it ended up being a bit of a win-win situation. I got to give him the Christmas gift that I had intended on giving him, but I got to keep it and play it myself. So after Christmas came and went, I think I maybe ended up putting about 10 to 12 hours into the game before I ultimately decided it was way too hard and I was dying way too often. So it went on the back burner and I pretty much left it alone until about 2 weeks ago, pretty soon after they released the game out of beta. And since then I've been messing around with the newer features and seeing what I can do, and I'm still terrible at the game. I still die way too often, but I've actually been having a lot of fun with it. So I figured what better game to sort of kick off the channel with than Don't Starve. So with that, we'll just get right into it and see whether or not we starve to death. So I cleared out all my sort of testing games. They weren't very good anyway, so we'll start a new game. And I believe, yep, it has kept the characters that I unlocked while messing about, and I figured I'd just hold on to them. There's no sense actually clearing them because experience seemed to be pretty easy to come by. But in the interest of starting anew, I will just stick with Wilson, and then we'll test out the new characters as we get further and further into this playthrough. So we will stay with the gentleman scientist, and we will start the game. You saw when I was loading the new world, there seems to be, what's new to me anyway, a customized world option, so maybe we'll mess around with that later. I always found that intro dialogue really interesting. "Say, pal, you don't look so good. You'd better find something to eat before night comes." Well, there's probably something about waking up in the middle of a field looking completely drained that kind of lends itself to not looking so good. And I always find that Maxwell character kind of a dick. Now, for those of you who haven't played this game at all, I'm sure even by the title you can kind of figure out that by Don't Starve, it's sort of a stay alive as long as you can type situation. So I usually end up, as soon as I spawn, stupid turkey, I don't have anything to kill you with yet. Sorry, as soon as I spawn, I usually end up just kind of running around the beginning world, gathering resources. I find you're always going to need them, so there's no sense not picking them up right at the beginning. And this is kind of a weird spot to start in. It's actually really cool. You can see a bunch of biomes just from where we're at. So across the way there, you can see there's a bunch of hay. This main area I'm in is just plain grassland. I've got the dark grassland just to the left of me. And then I was down a little bit and I thought there was something else. Oh yeah, and then there's like a tiny bit of stone. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in the first little area to get us going, which is kind of cool. But what we need to look for is flint. So I'm going to mess about and both explore, but still kind of keep my eye open for both food to keep me alive in a game called Don't Starve. That's pretty important. And see if we can't find some flint or some stones to sort of make some tools. Oh wow. So I have encountered beefalo within the first, 5 minutes of playing the game, which is pretty fantastic for the long term. But we don't need them yet, so we'll just leave them alone. Let's see what else we can find. You know what I should probably have done is just gone back to where there were some stones there and see if I can't find some flint or stones just hanging around on the ground, because that sometimes happens. So I guess while I can't say that this is a blind playthrough, my beta experience is extremely limited. I think the longest I made it was probably about 2 weeks, so 14 in-game days before I died. And I think, if I recall correctly, that was my first playthrough of the game. I ended up getting killed by a scary tree monster that I had no idea wasn't friendly, so We'll see if we do any better now that, we've got that experience under our belt. What is this? Looks like an offering to the beast. It's very creepy. Okay. Touchstone. What an odd looking stone. So that's new to me. I have no idea what that does, but we can't do anything with it right now, so we'll just leave it alone. Apparently it doesn't smell very good if the flies are any indication. Oh crap, we have tall scary birds. I wonder if that's who belongs to this nest over here. I'm a little disappointed that I've been walking around this area and haven't found any loose stones yet. And actually, it's getting late, I need to make a fire, but do I actually have... No, I don't. I don't even have the stuff to make a fire with because I haven't found any flint. Because I can't make an axe, and without an axe, I can't chop down trees. So that could be a problem. There we go. I was a little bit worried that our very first playthrough of the game was going to result in dying within the first day and having to start over. But we might have a chance now. So, before nightfall comes, let's chop down some trees and then we'll worry about the rest later. Because at this stage in the game, we just want to have some light to get us through the night. I still think where we started is really cool. I've never started in such a diverse area, even in all my sort of test playthroughs and actual playthroughs in the beta. I usually end up in grasslands for about the first, day or two. But we found pretty much most of what we need just within this first little bit we've been walking around, which is really cool. And seems to be... Yeah, there's a creepy wormhole right up there, which I didn't notice while I was running around, but... That's not exactly a surprise because I'm not the most observant person in the world. So we're chopping down trees to make us a fire to get us through the evening. And I guess I haven't been picking up pine cones because I'm a wasteful person. But I guess we should do that. I feel kind of bad cutting down trees and then not actually replacing them later, so... Oh, sure, yeah, now I find all the flint. In a weird little peninsula that just juts out to nowhere. Of course. So the game just wanted to make me sweat. That's cool. It kind of worked. But we have a pretty decent amount of wood, which is nice. We'll be able to make a campfire, which, presumably will get us through the night. And then maybe have, a better start when the morning comes. I don't know why I'm picking up seeds. They were never super useful in the beta, but maybe that's different now. Oh no, but I want this flint. I'm stubborn. Alright. So one of the main things I've noticed since playing the official release as opposed to the beta is they've sort of changed how the times are divided up. So before, you had about... not quite 3/4 of your time was spent in the daylight, and then dusk was much shorter, and then night was probably about the same, if I remember correctly. But now you've only got about half of your time spent playing the game as daytime, and the dusk period is a lot longer, which I find makes night go very quickly, which is kind of a bummer, because I used to use the overnight period, just kind of hanging out by the fire, but planning out what I was going to do the next day. But that's okay. We still got enough time to kind of mess around and chop some trees before my axe dies, which I realize now is almost an issue. And before the morning comes, maybe we'll cook up some of our delicious food. Try and make sure I don't go hungry. Beauty. There's also a new sanity meter, which maybe it's not new, but it's new to me. And it seems like overnight makes you go crazy, which kind of makes sense, especially if you don't know where you are. I can just imagine being Wilson and being dropped off in the middle of who knows where, and waking up completely unconscious with a creepy man telling you that you better find food. It's like some sort of creepy, sadistic game. I'm pretty sure there was a movie that was made on that premise. But I don't often watch movies, so I couldn't tell you what it was. Okay, so what do we have and what are our objectives? I have an axe which is about to die, so we might as well just kill it on this poor little tree. And done. So I have no tools. I wonder if I can make a pickaxe. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll make an axe too because we know we're going to need it. So since I'm here, I might as well take out these rocks. Down the line, I'm going to want to make a fire pit, sort of the more advanced version of a campfire. And you need stones for that, and you also need stones for a bunch of other random things. So while I'm here, I might as well break them down. In some of my previous playthroughs, I've found that stones are kind of difficult to come by, and you should always sort of take advantage of them when you stumble across them. So, since we're here, why not do that? Another thing that's new to me since picking the game back up is this niter. I always want to call it nitrate, I don't know why. Maybe because I think about crappy food too much. And I have no idea what it is or what it's for or anything like that, so I usually end up just kind of neglecting it. But we'll pick it up and take it with us as far as we can. And by that I mean until I run out of valuable inventory space. What do we got for rocks? So we've got 26 rocks. We've got a little bit of flint. I've got a couple pieces of gold. Oh, darn. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the rest of these sort of ore-lined rocks, or at least that's always the impression I got from them. Maybe get some more gold out of the ordeal. And then, since we're pretty much out of food, save for the 2 seeds in our inventory, I suppose we should go out in search of more food. And as sort of a secondary purpose to that, we will explore some more and see what we find. And it's kind of funny that it crops up in this playthrough, but I usually don't find that for a game titled Don't Starve, I don't really find that starving is usually a problem. In all the times that I've played through it, I've always found plentiful food. It usually ends up being an issue with encountering beastlies that want to tear me to pieces, or more recently, one of the playthroughs after the release, managing my sanity was really, really difficult. Pick up eye bone. I have a creepy eye bone. Right on. What is... Oh, it's Chester! Chester, open Chester. So, Chester is our little portable inventory guy, which is kind of cool. It also helps that he's adorable, so we'll take him with us as we run around in search of food, which could be a problem in this next night. So we're going to ignore these rocks, because we're kind of on a mission here. I guess worst comes to worst, I can cross my fingers and hope that seeds are going to get me through the night. Yeah, that's another thing I've noticed since they started the main game too. Rabbits are a lot easier to cherry pick. Usually you could kind of trap them. Hey! Alright, spider. Oh, crap. Sorry, as I was saying in previous games... Ah, no! Closed Chester. Rabbits were pretty easy to sort of cut off. You could sort of stand between them and their rabbit holes, and you'd be able to sort of cut them off and kill them on their way running back. But not so anymore. They seem to just sort of run away from you, which is kind of smart. I guess that's more accurate to what they would actually do. But darn it, it sucks for my hunger purposes. So we got a couple berries. Oh, there's a carrot. and some more berries. And I'm probably not being smart and ignoring all these resources, but I really just wanted to find food before nighttime came. So a little bit concerned about my hunger level. And you'll notice, and it might be annoying, I have a tendency to explore via the perimeter of a landform, which doesn't seem to work now in the release version. I'm used to it the beta where there were, what is that? Examine harp statue. Attack. Examine marble tree. I don't think I want to do that. I don't know what that thing is. What is that? Hi. Whoa, okay, nope. Okay, good. Crisis averted. What was I saying? Oh, the beta. Yeah, in the beta. Oh no! The spider is attacking my chest. In the beta, third time's a charm, you had more circular landforms that were connected by cool little land bridges, which is usually how I would explore. I would just kind of run around the exterior perimeter until I found a land bridge, and then I'd cross that, see what's across the other side. But now it just seems to be... no, I'll beat you to the berries. Ah. Now it just seems to be almost one big landform, which sort of juts off into different areas. So going around the perimeter isn't as helpful as it once was. But that's okay, it's still a habit and we'll probably still stick to it. So what do we got here? Chester is sleeping. I keep forgetting he's like a portable inventory. So what am I not going to need right off? I probably won't need gold right off. This other stuff I'll keep handy. The bone, I think I probably need that to carry him around since that's... It's looking at me. I have absolutely no idea what a spider gland is for, but it says heal, so we'll hold on to that. And I need to cook up some food because I can see that my stomach is dwindling here. So let's get some of this stuff cooked up and we will feed you, Wilson. Let's just eat all the berries. Why not? Alright. Keep all my tools towards the right here and stay sort of organized. So what do we got going on? We've explored a decent amount of area. Well, not really in the grand scheme of things, but we've got a lot of perimeter covered. I almost wish I went up and went north instead, because this whole area in the center here was pretty good to me. There was grasslands, forest, berries, there was the sort of hay fields that had beefalo in them. So I think what I might do is ignore this creepy little area here for now, because I have never seen that before, and it's probably just bad news. And I'll explore a little bit more of this sort of south side before I kind of go up, and I'll make myself a base of sorts from which to operate. I guess I'll cook the seeds too, just to have them on hand. So I've still got about a third of my pickaxe, most of my axe. Please don't die. I don't really want to waste resources on keeping the fire alive so close to day. Perfect. Alright, Chester, are you ready? Let's go. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll pick up a couple more resources while we're down here and have access to them, and then I guess we'll head back up north and maybe see what we can do about setting something up there. I find the game almost wants to sort of, not pigeonhole you, but encourage you to live off the land and explore and be a little more nomadic than I tend to be. I find it really comforting to have sort of a base of operations from which to go forth and explore that way. Especially in a game like this where inventory management seems to be so tedious sometimes. It's nice to have sort of one central location to set up a bunch of chests and a science machine, which, as we'll see, that becomes important. So let's pick up all this stuff. Holy, there's a lot of grass and twigs down here, which is awesome. Kind of makes me not want to leave this area, but as I can kind of see on the map, we don't really have anywhere to go from here. So north it is. And I say north, but I usually get myself screwed up because you can rotate the screen, which is really helpful when stuff is hiding behind trees, but quite often I'll have rotated the screen and I won't remember that I did that. So I'll say north, but I'll actually end up running way west or something like that. But we're right on territory. We're going north. That's what we're doing. Huzzah. Sure, why not? We'll break down this rock, because it's here. Now, another thing I guess, that they seem to have eradicated since I played in the beta is the whole thing surrounding research points. And, ooh, I got 2 shiny gold from that. And before, the way it worked is you would sort of gather gold, gather cool stuff, and you would research it, which would give you almost like intelligence points, which would help you unlock kind of all this stuff. But that doesn't seem to exist anymore, so I haven't quite reached a balance with knowing how certain things are important. So before, gold was really important. I would pop that into the science machine, get research points, and research new stuff. Now, so far, anyway, with my very limited experience, gold to me just seems to be good for golden tools. But I'm sure there's tons of other stuff it's good for. I just haven't exactly had a chance to research it. And personally research it, I guess, not research it in the game. Okay, so we have a massive sort of rock area, which is awesome. It's got this really weird touchstone with creepy pig heads, which is an offering to the beast, apparently. The beast being, I don't know, the Satan beast? Who knows? So we're gonna go up. Oh, there's the wormhole. Convenient that it's located just on this little patch of green grass. Sort of keep going north. I won't pick up those seeds because I already cooked a bunch of them. Okay, so here is our grasslands where there was a whole bunch of beefalo over there. So we've got a pretty good thing here. Like I was saying, we've got the grasslands over here, we got forest, we've got the hay biome with the beefalo, we've got stones down there. It's really close to spawn, and I'm hesitant as a result to set up here, but I think it might be good for us. So I'm gonna find a handy dandy little spot down here in the grass, I guess, because, I don't know, I like to set up in grass. It's happy and fun and bright. Sure, why not? This is as good a spot as any, I suppose. Examine green mushroom. The mushroom is sleeping. Right on. So, yeah, I have commitment issues, and I'm sure you can tell by the way I keep checking my map to see where I am. I guess you're never limited to setting up just one base, but I always want it to be like the perfect spot with the perfect amount of resources, which, as I've found, doesn't usually exist. So, wait, why do I have 2 stacks of rocks? That's really weird. Sure, committing. Fire pit, perfect. Since we're here, we'll cook some berries and just scarf them. And dusk is very quickly approaching, so we probably, aren't gonna have time to do much else. Put these 2 stones together, because it didn't make sense for them to be separate. Oh, our green mushrooms have sprouted. Now, that's another thing. I don't really know a lot about what they do. The mushrooms are sort of new to me. I know that there are red, green, and blue mushrooms, and I know they seem to have something to do with your sanity, and since you can eat them, presumably also your hunger, but I haven't gotten a lot of exposure to how they exactly work, so I wonder, can we make a shovel? Use a science machine to build a prototype. Well, I can make a science machine, so why don't we do that? I'll put it right over here. Perfect. Alright, there we go. So now, instead of having to research stuff and then, have it then be open to you as you're walking around the world, it seems like to make new items, you have to be within proximity to a science machine, or I guess an alchemy engine, as some of these things suggest. Can I make a shovel? Where did my shovel go? Axe, luxury axe. Oh, I see. They've grouped this stuff together. Okay, so shovel, prototype. Beautiful. I remember in beta, they used to have the shovel was one of the tools you started out as being able to build, but they seem to have changed that, which is kind of a bummer, but I guess, you know, it increases the difficulty level of the game, so. I get really anal about what's in my base, which is why I just dug up that sapling. It was kind of in the middle, and gosh darn it, I didn't like it. So we're just gonna move it somewhere off to the side, so it's not gonna bother me. Perfect. Alright, so night's just about here, so why don't I put something on the fire? Why not a pine cone, because I haven't been very good at planting them. There we go, that's a nicer fire. Not nice enough though, I kind of wanted to go cut down that tree in the background. So we're coming up on the end of day 3, which is awesome. We made a lot of progress. We explored a decent amount of the area and found a place to set up, which is cool. We've got a science machine. Chester is sleeping. I keep wanting to call him Chesty, but that's a little bit too much of a boob reference for me. We've got ourselves a fire pit, got some tools, so I think we did pretty good for our first couple of days. And very likely, I guess, at the end of this night, I'm going to cut this episode. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you think I should do. I know we're pretty early into this playthrough. We've still got a lot of stuff to explore here. Very small of an area uncovered, so in the next episode, I will probably just run around a bit more, maybe head north a bit, see what's going on up there. But yeah, if there's anything you want to see me try or do, if you're also new to the game, let me know. We can try alongside each other. You can always reach me on Twitter too, twitter.com/AidanEvolves. And I will be checking the comments and my tweets frequently, because I have no life and because I love to talk to people. So yeah, hit me up on either of those networks and we can be friends. Until then, I'm just gonna cook up, well, I guess I might as well cook up all my food, since I'll inevitably be hungry in a game called Don't Starve. Cook, cook, cook. Alright, it is daytime, and with that I will leave you until the next episode. So yeah, get a hold of me on Twitter, leave me some comments, and I will see you next time. Cheers!